You want to see some real injustice in America by law enforcement? In this case, the Marin Headlands Park Rangers, who are acting like Power Rangers. This guy's driving his RV across the country. He gets sick. He decides to pull over at a national park, and that's when all hell breaks loose. We're going to take a look at this story. I'm going to give you the end from the beginning. This guy, who is absolutely innocent of everything, goes to jail for 1.5 years.
A slow-speed chase involving an old RV in the Marin Headlands ends with a crash and a surprise decision in court. A judge threw out most of the charges against that driver, questioning whether U.S. park rangers are in fact peace officers.
ABC 7 News I-Team reporter Dan Noyes has an investigation you will see only on 7. Dan.
And Dan, there are several questions about how the park rangers behaved that night and how their actions escalated, which should have been a minor traffic stop.
I started having double vision back in Napa.
40-year-old.
But let me just start this real quick. This isn't a traffic stop. They weren't pulling him over. He hadn't done anything wrong. He was just sitting on the side of the road in a national park where you can park.
Chino Casey tells me he started feeling the effects of COVID while heading home to San Francisco with his wife and year-old daughter in their RV. So he stopped at Rodeo Beach in the Marin Headlands.
I pulled over there because I couldn't keep driving, and I didn't want to risk having accidents. So I knew that National Park was somewhere I could go and park for a few hours and get some rest.
Just after.
So the guy does the right thing by removing himself from the road because he feels like, hey, I'm being a danger to myself and to everybody else on the road. I'm going to go ahead and pull over and get some sleep. Maybe when I wake up, I'll feel better to drive. And he's going to get penalized by the Marin Headlands Park Rangers.
9 on a Wednesday night in January 2022, a U.S. park ranger knocks on the back of the RV. And then again 30 seconds later. He didn't identify himself either time. The ranger's body cam video shows Casey pulling away.
So when I heard that, and I'm like, it's dark. I'm already sick. I didn't even say nothing. I got up and started the RV and drove away.
At that point, did you know that it was a ranger?
Nope.
He could have announced himself.
I shared the video from that night with Travis Norton, retired police lieutenant and SWAT team leader, who now teaches for the National Tactical Officers Association and testifies in court as a police procedures expert. Norton tells me the U.S. Park Rangers made several mistakes that night. Number 1, the ranger failed to identify himself right away.
RV just turned on and took off on me.
And after Casey pulled over, the ranger told his colleagues that he had identified himself.
I knocked on the door. I was like, hey, police, come out. Turned on the RV and started.
So what have we seen? In time after time, in video after video, they will just lie. They know the cameras are rolling, but they're going to continue to lie anyway. This guy driving away did absolutely nothing wrong. There was no reason to pursue him. And these guys, these park rangers, put this man's life and his family's life in danger.
Driving.
Norton says that made the other rangers see Casey in a different, more suspicious light.
Obviously, if you came up to me and said, hey, I identified myself, and then the guy took off, okay, well, it would appear that he's fleeing from us.
A park ranger sergeant arrives and
So what? If you have not committed a crime and you identify yourself as a cop or a park ranger or whatever, and you decide not to engage in a conversation or hang around to see what happens, and you want to just drive away, you're not free to drive away in America? What if you saw a cop or a group of cops on the road and you're like, you know what? Let's see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and run away as fast as I can in the opposite direction. Are you not free to run? You're not being suspected of committing a crime. You haven't committed a crime. You're not going to commit a crime. What's their basis for following you? What's their basis for actually following this guy down the road and putting his life in jeopardy?
speaks with dispatch. She learns Casey has a $7,500 warrant out of Pacifica.
148.9 Alpha and PC 148 Alpha 1.
Providing false information to police and resisting. Both misdemeanors, nonviolent crimes. But mistake number 2, the sergeant gets the criminal code numbers wrong and concludes Casey was arrested for a bomb threat.
And was it also 148.1 Alpha? I thought they said 148.1 also.
Yeah, it must have been.
Which is a bomb threat.
And that bad information spreads from
So now their sense of emergency is heightened. Their fear, the fear that they feel is going to run through them like crazy. Oh my God, this guy's wanted for a bomb threat. He must be public enemy number one. Now we really got to stop him because they made a mistake.
one ranger to another.
False tags?
No false bomb threat.
Oh, bomb threat.
Travis Norton tells me that continues to escalate the situation.
That would take you to a little more elevated sense of maybe there's some danger here.
Mistake number 3. When the sergeant tries to speak with Casey, it gets heated over that simple misdemeanor case.
Oh, so here's where we're at. You got a warrant.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
We
no, I
already
don't.
went through that
I already
because
been through that already.
I had to pay for it. I had to pay for jail.
Pay for
So I know that we already went through this.
There's a lot going on here. Might just be, hey, guys, have a good night. Just clear that warrant up for us. Thank you. But then it turns into something that in my opinion, it didn't need to.
I know what you're doing.
Listen,
I know what you're doing, and I know what you're doing.
Okay?
I know.
No. They had him in LA, and when they
Do not take off.
Do not take off.
Do not take off.
Highway 9, the subject is running.
Casey admits at this point he made a mistake.
And I know I don't have a warrant, and I have the paperwork in the car, and we were going through the argument. And he pulled on the door, and it scared me, and I panicked.
And you took off.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, do you regret?
Probably not advisable, because when you run from the police, what are they going to do? They're going to deploy all the resources of the state. They're going to get the manpower, helicopters in the air, dogs on the ground. They're going to get you. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't with these people. I mean, they're making mistake after mistake, and your life hangs in the balance.
Having taken off?
Yeah.
Do not take off.
Casey pulls away in the RV, and mistake number 4. The Rangers in their SUVs give chase.
We don't chase people for misdemeanor warrants. The risk versus gain analysis is just not there. What are we gaining and what are we risking?
The Rangers escalate the situation further, aiming their long guns at the RV as it nears the one-way tunnel with the 5-minute red light. Mistake number 5.
Just toss the thing and go.
They failed to deploy the spike strips properly.
The deployment of the spike strips, not good.
It's not the Marin Park Rangers. It's the Keystone Cops, man.
He puts them in the wrong spot. He doesn't pull them back. So you need to put them in the lane that the subject is traveling. That doesn't happen. And then once that vehicle passes, you pull those spike strips back so you don't deflate the tires of your own vehicles.
That's exactly what happens. The RV passes without hitting the spike strips, but a Ranger's SUV runs right over them, popping a tire.
I think this vehicle will be back in service in a couple minutes.
Roll the Benny Hill music.
Mistake number 6. The Rangers try to block the tunnel by parking an SUV inside at an angle.
We don't block anything because that's dangerous. You can cause crashes, and in fact, it does in this set of circumstances.
As I hit the curve, the car's in there. I hit on the brakes, and it's just not stopping, you know?
He sideswipes the Ranger's SUV and gets stuck in the tunnel with a carload of tourists. No injuries, besides Casey's daughter, who suffered some minor scratches. Mistake number 7.
This car moves, you get shot. Your hands drop, you get shot.
You have an...
Is that Philip Brailsford from the La Quinta Inn who pulled the trigger on Daniel Shaver? What's going on? It sounds exactly like his voice.
You think you're going to fall, you better fall on your face. Your hands go back in the small of your back are down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. Crawl towards me. Crawl towards me.
This car moves, you get shot. Your hands drop, you get shot.
We are going to shoot you.
Officer who is pointing his firearm at the front of the vehicle, right up on. When we compress time and space like that, you increase the danger level for everybody.
Yeah, you just escalated. Look, I am shocked that nobody got shot.
Norton says this Ranger is elevating the encounter for no reason.
Hey, can you get your hands up for me? Just get your hands up. Something like that is going to be much more effective. Everybody's blood pressure is up at this point, but we don't need to do that. You're the professional.
I'm not going to fight you. Whatever you want me to do, okay?
The Rangers took Casey into custody, charged with evading a peace officer with reckless driving, child endangerment, vandalism, hit and run, driving without a valid driver's license, resisting a peace officer.
everyone involved made some pretty bad decisions. My client and the rangers.
Casey's attorney successfully argued that U.S. National Park Rangers are not peace officers under California law and should have not been involved in enforcing a warrant from a state court.
Those rangers don't have the proper training to be peace officers, and they're specifically excluded from peace officer status by the legislature. The law is really clear in that regard.
The judge dismissed most of the charges. A jury later convicted Casey for child endangerment and driving without a license. He's on probation after spending a year and a half in Marin County Jail.
A year and a half in jail. Child endangerment. The only way that child got endangered, yeah, Casey made some bad moves. He made some bad decisions, but he was fearing for his life and his family's life, and with good reason. There's a lot of videos out there that shows that, hey, cops are super trigger happy. They are not reasonable or logical human beings. They are out there to make a name for themselves, and they don't care who they have to step on to do it. So it's kind of understandable what Casey did. Big time mistake. But the people who put other people in danger were the park rangers, the Power Rangers.
Pacino Casey credits his wife for hanging in there and finding a lawyer who could help.
She didn't leave me in there. She didn't leave me in there. She knows that I've been protecting her, and she protected me.
The National Park Service that oversees the Rangers declined my request for an interview and did not respond to a detailed list of questions. Now, one final mistake: the Rangers impounded Casey's RV, put an evidence hold on it, but the tow yard destroyed the RV by mistake. Casey had wanted it back, but now it's just gone.
So now his property gets destroyed. It's all just a shizzle show. Leave your thoughts about this for the world, the global thought police, in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my brand new channel called The Disturbing Illusion, where we punch a hole in the left versus right paradigm lie. Would love to have you guys over there. I will see you in the next video.